Your page, Jonathan.
Yeah, let's go.
It's on your page, right?
Right. And so
Cool.
we're gonna make sure group party and everything there.
Cool.
All right. Here we go. Here we go. All right, let's do it.
Do you? Do you? Do you? Do you? Do you? Tell me. Do you? Tell me. Just tell me the second Just tell me the second
House Concurrent Resolution 79. Open the machine, Madam Clerk. If you favor the resolution, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Everyone voted. Has everyone voted? Close machine, Madam Clerk. By a vote of 85 yeas and 34 nays, resolution passes.
Jimmy Kimmel apologizes for past blackface sketches and calls his delay on addressing the matter a mistake. The late-night host issued a lengthy statement on Tuesday following criticism of his past impersonations of multiple black celebrities, particularly former NBA star Karl Malone. Kimmel acknowledged the issue while explaining why he took his time to respond, saying he didn't want it to be celebrated as a victory, but has realized why he should have spoken out sooner.
Yes, indeed. Once again, it's all what's going on, y'all. It's the Essential AF Podcast Show. We are back. I am your host, Jonathan C. Smith. Welcome to the show, man. I got my people with me. We back once again. Got the professor, Mr. Lee Johnson. What's going on, my guy?
Hey. Hope everyone had a great baby daddy day.
No doubt, no doubt. Also, got my man, Brandon. What's going on, my guy?
What up? What up?
You know what time it is, man. And then also, the lady of the show, Miss Stacy Camille Twa. What's going on?
Hello. Jonathan, where is the live at on Facebook? I'm looking for it.
We live, ain't we? Live, ain't we?
I don't see it.
All right, we're going to be live in a minute. We live.
Okay. I just
All
want to
right.
make sure.
Okay. All right. Man, listen, we got a lot to get into. We got a lot going on, man. We got to talk about everything that's going on in the world right now. You know, we got to talk about the Mississippi State flag, the blackface, all celebrities coming out apologizing for all their blackface skits and videos in the past. We got all that to get into and more, man. Got to talk about coronavirus, mandatory masks that we got to wear in the city. And, man, it's a lot going on. So we're going to get into everything, man. Make sure you join in on the conversation and all that good stuff, man. But right now, we're being joined by a special guest right now. He's already on the show, man. My guy, he's your guy. He is our state representative, District 98, Tennessee House State Representative, man, Democratic. He holds that seat. He's been holding it down for almost 10 years now. Man, we're so honored to have him on the show right now. My main man, Antonio Parkinson. What's going on, my guy?
Hey, what's happening, man? Thank you for having me on the show. What's up, everybody?
Hey, what's going on?
Welcome.
Man,
I'm
it's
trying to
an
find my
honor right
camera.
now.
I'm trying to find my camera so I can talk, so I can actually try to act like I'm looking at y'all.
Man, hey man, well, you sounding good, man. We appreciate you joining us, man. It's an honor to have you on the show right now, man. We really appreciate it. And like I said, you know, you have been holding it down and serving the people of the 98th district for almost 10 years now, man. Just for people who don't know about you, man, just give the people out there, you know, just a little knowledge, man, about who Antonio Parkinson is, man.
Man, I'm just a regular person, man. I'm grounded. Someone who came up. I was born in Oakland, California. I grew up in LA, finished high school in Texas. People ask me, man, y'all moved around. Were you military? I'm like, nah, we was just unstable. And so, we just bounced around, man. A little bit of my story. I was homeless, I think 3 times before the age of 17. Went to jail at the age of 14 in the last day of school in the 10th grade. Been through it, seen some stuff, but I tell people, there's purpose in everything. And all of that was to shape me for what I'm doing now. So, you know, a lot of times we go through these traumatic events, and we survive them. But I tell people we survive them for a reason, so that you can walk in your purpose and walk in it, perfectly to be able to do what you're supposed to do, what you're sent here to do.
Absolutely, no doubt. We're being joined right now by my main man, State Rep Antonio Parkinson. And recently, as a few days ago, you put it out there on Facebook, and you wanted people to basically put out, whatever encounters they had with the police, that may have been a,
Yeah.
very hairy or touchy situation. What was your goal? What did you want to accomplish by, having people to discuss, their run-ins with the police?
It's interesting. And putting that post out, it was really for my colleagues in the Tennessee legislature. I've been trying to explain to them, honestly, for the last um, almost 10 years, but more importantly, in these last few weeks, with a little bit more fervor, so to speak, that y'all need to understand our truth. And y'all need to understand that we come from two different two different complete backgrounds. Your truth is your truth, and I understand that, and I'm happy to hear it. But you also need to understand our truth, for my people, and what we deal with on a regular basis. And I can, and there's, because they were still, with all of this stuff going on, all of the protests, rioting, and unarmed black people being killed. They were still pushing policy that would even layer more on top of that. With everything that's going on, with the entire world speaking to them, they were still layering more policy or laws on top of, to make things even worse for the very people that I'm here to tell them about. For instance, they were trying to create policy for protesters. Create laws that would make it easier to lock protesters up, or people that they said were rioting. And I explained to them. I said, you're making these, creating these additional policies and additional punitive measures, but you're not even looking at the root cause. You're not even going after what the reason that they're out there. It's a reason that they're out there, but you're not looking at that. So you're not looking at anything that would create accountability for law enforcement, or anything that would stop these folks from killing unarmed black people, which is the reason why they're raising their voice. And I explained to them, hell, if my son was out there, I would probably tear some shit out. If my son was killed, or my daughter was killed by the police department, shit, I'd be tearing some shit up too. You got people that's out there grieving. You got an entire nation almost of people that watched the spirit leave Mr. George Floyd's body. While this officer, really honestly looked into those cameras, and showed you his white privilege. He looked into that camera and showed you his arrogance, and he looked into that camera and showed you that he had the backing of the United States government all the way to the highest office. And so that's why he felt so comfortable with taking his hand off that car, putting it in his pocket, and kneeling harder into Mr. George Floyd's neck. And I'm trying to get these people to understand that you got a real problem, because people in my community, ain't nobody finna stand there and let somebody kill them. Shit, at some point, people are gonna start shooting back. And then what you gonna do? But you don't want to fix the problem. You don't want to fix the root cause of what's happening. You wanna punish the people that's out there trying to tell you that we got a problem.
Absolutely. As well said, Mr. Parkinson. Right now, guys, everybody that's joining us right now live on Facebook. We're being joined right now by our state representative, man. The man that's been doing the work for the people over the last 10 years for District 98, Mr. Antonio Parkinson. And you talked about getting down to the root cause. And, I believe like one of those root causes in order to affect change is, to put laws out there, to put legislation out there that's going to be able to help us, in the future. And sir, you definitely have done that, over the years with some of the laws you've already, had a hand in and making sure, that gets accomplished. As far as I was reading up, as far as the laws in regards to aggravated rape, making
Right.
sure whoever those perpetrators are, they serve 100% of their sentence, and also helping with laws in the workplace as well, to, to make sure there's
Sure.
no bullying going on with the workplace. So kudos to you for the work you've done, you're doing, and you're going to do in the future as well. But speaking of legislation, like what is it going to take as far as laws being passed in regards to police brutality to make sure like George Floyd's and other things like that have happened in the past never happen again?
It's going to take us voting. It's going to take us voting because we have to have the numbers up there in order to get the things done that we need to get done, for our community. We still now, and we got, it's 26 Democrats up there in the House, and I'm talking about the Tennessee House, and there are 64 um, Republicans. And so that's what they call a super majority, and when they have a super majority, they can almost do anything they want to do, to be totally honest with you. And so, we really have to make sure that our people, honestly get up and vote, because, if even in Shelby County, if everybody that every African American or black person that was eligible to vote in Shelby County, you're talking about a huge difference in the people that's being elected, even the governor's office. Honestly, if Shelby County came through and Davidson County came through and Knox and Hamilton County, which is Chattanooga, if they came through, you would have a Democratic governor. You would have a Democratic governor, and but people are not voting, and I try to explain to people too that the state elections, which are coming up in August, right? With July 17th, early voting starts. These state elections, these are your most important election, I'm happy to qualify that. Even more important than your presidential, even more important than your city council. And this is stuff I learned from Republicans. Look, you wouldn't have a city and county if the state legislators did not sign off on the charter, so they wouldn't even exist. You also have to understand this too. When you pay your taxes, whether it's property taxes, sales taxes, whatever taxes, your taxes, and even your federal taxes go to the feds first, go to DC, right? And then guess where they send it back to? Back to the state for disbursement. Your local, your property taxes, or your sales taxes rather. Your sales taxes, when you buy that bag of chips or them drinks, comes to the state. And then the state decides where it's dispersed or how it's dispersed in the cities and the counties. We're the hub. You see what I'm saying? We're the hub. That's why I was fighting so hard and acting a damn fool about the state budget, because that's where the decisions are made. And think about this. Every single thing that governs, and I need y'all to get this if you don't already have it. Every single thing that governs your life, from the moment you close your eyes to the moment you open them back up when you wake up in the morning, is ruled by a law. We're the lawmakers. So think about that. We are the lawmakers, and the governor can't move unless we move, and we can't move unless the governor and the Senate moves. But we're the lawmakers. The governor. See, a lot of people think the governor makes the law. The governor can't make a law. The legislative branch, which is the state representatives and the state Senate, we make the laws. And so when you think about the laws that affect you more than they affect other groups, that shit is by design. And so we're up there, fighting and fighting, and it's so crazy because we're up there fighting and fighting and fighting for our people, but our people are the ones that are voting the least. And so yeah, and so and even taking it a step further, we're up there fighting for our people, right? And then when it comes time for us to run for re-election, it's our people that are not contributing to the campaigns. They're contributing to the campaigns the least, but we're fighting for you. So it puts us in a position. So you always hear, you'll hear where, man, he got up there, got elected, then he sold out, right? Well, shit, it's them white folks that's helping him get reelected. And not that he's swearing allegiance to them, but he's gonna have to have a conversation with them.
Yep.
When they're the ones that's funding his campaign, and the people that he's fighting for, you know, won't contribute $10 to the campaign.
Absolutely.
Bro,
Yeah, and so
I got a question.
yeah,
What do you say to the people who choose not to exercise their right to vote or just feel like their vote doesn't count?
man, you know what? I was telling my daughter today. I got a daughter that's 28 and I got one that's 15, right? And they'll come to me with some misinformation, right? And the first thing I tell them, I done told you, don't be listening to your ignorant blank friends because they don't know shit, right? And so and that's them same people that say, man, my vote ain't gonna count, and this, that, and other. So BS. Your vote is counting. And when you don't vote, hell, you electing Trump, or you electing somebody else that's gonna work, against your interests, against things that matter to you, against your values, and so, for instance, if right now in the state of Tennessee, and a lot of people don't realize it, in the state of Tennessee, if you got a half ounce of weed on you, right, a half ounce.
Lord, he done froze up on the half ounce.
Man,
I'm like
dropped some
this.
jewels
Yeah,
right
he
there.
froze up.
He
Yeah,
dropped some
that was
jewels,
it.
Yeah.
They got him.
It's cause the
They
man
got him right
man.
there.
Candace,
If you got a half
Hey,
ounce, and then all of a
look at that.
sudden,
it's
that's
Candace.
how the
man.
government works.
It's motherfucking Candace, baby. Motherfucking Candace.
Man, the man that got our guy Antonio.
How it is.
Oh,
Oh
he
man,
finna get in there good.
I'm telling you, it was coming, man.
Ooh.
Here come J. Edgar
NSA,
Hoover.
government,
Yeah.
all of them, they came after him.
Hey, make sure y'all
Man,
hit him
all
up
that
with that
good
half
stuff,
ounce.
man. I was loving it.
Man, here
I
comes
was loving
J.
it, man.
Edgar Hoover now. J.
I'm
Edgar Hoover.
telling you, man.
Man,
All right, we'll try to get Antonio back on, man. But that was State Rep Antonio Parkinson, man, dropping some knowledge, man. Like I knew he's gonna come on the show and drop some jewels, man. 'Cause that guy, he's been putting in work for years now, for the people, man. So
I
shout out
got
to him
man
for coming on, man. He came on the show early, man. That's what I'm talking
ready. He ready,
about.
wasn't
He
he?
was ready.
I got some shit to say, goddammit.
No doubt, man. Hey, well, welcome everybody in, man. Welcome in on Facebook. We just had State Rep Antonio Parkinson join us on the Essential AF podcast show. He came in early, man, dropping some science about the game and, as far as policies and laws in place, to try to help the situation, what's going on now. So we appreciate his time, man. If we can't get him back on this show, we'll definitely get him back on the show in the future there, man. He was ready,
Yeah,
Stacey.
right when he got to talking about that ounce. Here come J. Edgar Hoover and Candace and them Owens. You hear me?
Candace go.
Man.
Candace got him, man.
And Carol Baskin. That's who did it.
Ain't no but damn Carol Baskin.
And then
Ain't
got
nothing but
Antonio
Carol
off.
Baskin,
I'm
man.
sick good.
Hey, man, get in on the conversation, man. I got my guys. Everybody's here. Lee, Brandon, Stacy, we're all here, man. We're gonna have a great show coming up for you guys. We got a few things we're gonna talk about, man. We're gonna get into reparations as far as Black people. If they ever decide to give us reparations, what we gonna do? What we gonna do with the money, and what could be some other possible gains as well, man, as far as reparations. And shout out to Lee Johnson, who put that question out there, man, on Facebook as well, man. And we'll read out some comments from everybody that chimed in on our Facebook post. Go like our page right now, Essential AF Podcast on Facebook. Also, go subscribe to our YouTube channel, #Essential AF Podcast, man. So everybody can join us right now on the chat. Say what's up. Say what's happening right now in the chat room, man. Get in on the conversation. I'll put the question out there on the chat for everybody also to chime in about reparations. But since we're talking about reparations, let's put it out there, man, as far as, it seems to be momentum. Momentum is starting to build towards reparations. We were supposed to get reparations back in 1865, as you well know, Stacy, when the slaves were free. There was talks then of making it happen, but the powers that be saw fit that free slave.
Chaplain.
We're not giving any reparations. They did not receive their 40 acres and a mule at that time. So with that being said, guys, and Lee, I'll throw it to you, man. As far as reparations are concerned, what do you think should happen, man? As far as if we ever do receive reparations, how do you think that plan should go?
I mean, it's such a complex issue, especially now in 2020, because we're talking about, back when they gave the Chinese reparations, it was, I believe, it was $25 million, which was a lot of money back then. So it was $20,000 per person. And that was a big difference maker for them back then. It's not just a monetary compensation that can happen now for us, because it's not just about money. It's about, the affirmative action situation. It's about, education opportunities, economic opportunities, health opportunities, all of these different things. It's such a complex issue. The money helps, but what else after the money? I mean, and I'll have to do more research on this, but some of the opportunities that they gave native-born Americans in terms of free college, some of those things, that definitely is a big process. A part of it. I know I said in our group chat, I was talking about the HBO show Watchmen, and one of the things that they did for the referdations was for Black people not to pay taxes, and how much that could change the game in terms of reparations. So it's such a complex thing, but the money definitely starts out. The money helps. It's because whenever they say it's not about the money, it's always about the money.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we got my man, we got him back. Hey, Mr. Parkinson, man,
Yeah.
we thought the Republicans, we thought Candace Owens got you, man. We thought she took you out
Right,
of
right. They didn't want me
here.
talking about weed, huh? Right, right,
Soon as
right.
you
Yeah,
started with the weed, here comes J.
right,
Edgar Hoover.
right, right. Then they
but
kicked me off. But
but actually, Mr. Parkinson, I'm glad that you jumped back in with us. We were talking about reparations. As far
yeah.
as if we ever do receive reparations down the road here,
Mhm.
what do you think, as far as just Black folks as a whole, like what would be the best plan for reparations?
You know, I don't know if you guys have ever read this book called A Framework to Understanding Poverty. In that book, it talks about, while of course, the financial piece is important, but there are a ton of other resources that need to be put in place before people receive that financial piece. Having a mentor, having the resources, the education resources, having financial literacy resources, to be able to keep that money, because we see over and over, where examples of people that have received money without having those other resources in place, and within a year they're in more debt than they were before they received that big lump sum of money, or whatever money it was that they received. We see all the time where many of our Black athletes, go into the league, and may have even a long career in the league, but still end up broke when they retire from the league. And so you know I think something um, tangible, such as property, or land, and other things, need to be part of that conversation. Education, and I'm even, while I never knock anybody's formal education, but I always also look at the fact that I have zero degrees, and I kick attorneys' ass on a regular basis, up there in the Capitol, and these guys, they're legal experts, and this, that, and other, so I just think that it's a real conversation that need to be had, where everybody needs to have some input in it, as many people as we can, to see what that need needs to be. I'll tell you this though, it this kind of made me think about this when I was saying everybody needs to be involved. Part of our challenge is this, is that we're always in defensive mode, or we're always in reactionary mode, reacting to an agenda. And so And so what you have is us we're responding. We're always responding, to an agenda that was set in play maybe 10 or 15 years ago. You see what I'm saying? And
Okay.
so I think one of the most important things for us to do is to have our own agenda, our own plan, our own strategy, so that we can be more offensive minded
Yes,
in,
sir.
in going after those things that we go after. Part of that is and I think it's vital, that this conversation we had in regards to how we spend our money, how we direct our money, how we use that energy. Because I tell people all the time, America only turned on its axis, which when I say that, I mean that it shifted in a new way of doing things, maybe only 4 times in the 200-year history,
Hmm.
right? And the first time was when these rich folks got mad up there in the the colonial Massachusetts and that area. They were mad because the king was taxing the rich folks. That's the killer part. A lot of people don't even realize that the taxes that was coming from England wasn't for everybody. It was just for the rich folks.
Right.
But the rich folks again got smart enough again to talk to poor white folks into fighting their fight for them. And that's how you had the Boston Tea Party. And from that, because of that money, they had the Revolutionary War, right? And then you move down. Then some years later, they were going to upend the slavery industry, the slave industry, because a lot of people got to understand this was an industry. There's people making money off of chains, people making money off of shackles, people making money off of feed, clothing, shacks that they built on the plantations, the sale of the product, the agricultural sale of cotton and other things. It was an industry. So when that industry was being threatened to be upended because they were going to lose, they literally were going to lose all of their money, all of how they made their money, their way of life, how it churned the economy in the South.
Hmm.
Then when
Absolutely.
because of that money,
Hmm.
it shifted on its axis again. Civil War happened. Then
Okay.
the next time there was money being withheld by us. We finally got wise, and withheld money, and it was hurting the Alabama economy. And next thing you know, it shifted on its axis again with everything in civil rights. And then the very last time when things changed, well,
Oh,
now
yeah,
it's been two
yeah.
times now. The
Hmm.
2 times now when things shifted on its axis was when they hit them world banks in New York, the World Trade Centers. When they hit those banks, it's money, right? Shifted on its axis. Nothing's been the same. We hadn't even flown the same. We don't even fly and go through the airports the same. Shifted on its axis again. And now this very time, right now, in the present, with this pandemic, the United States is shifting on its axis again, because the only reason they opened this place, started opening these places back up, was not because things were better, and not because you can survive it with your health. It was because those businesses were dying, and they are
There
dying
it is.
still. You
Yes,
see what I'm
sir.
saying? And
Yes,
so
sir.
so if we're not speaking capitalism, and I don't, I'm a marketer by trade. My business is marketing, public relations, public opinion. So, marching and protesting, yes, that is perfect, great for awareness. But they'll let you do it till you fall out, until you get tired, until you don't show up anymore. Nobody's protesting as much as they were a month ago or 2 weeks ago now. But they'll let you do it till now. But
Absolutely.
if you're not speaking the language, it's not English and it's not Spanish, it's capitalism. If you're not speaking that language, then you are not there. You sound like Charlie Brown's teacher to them. You see
No
what I'm
doubt.
saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we have to, especially with us having $1.3 trillion in buying power, 1.3 trillion in buying power. We have to direct that money, and direct how we spend it, and stop spending it with the people who are funding our harm.
Absolutely. Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yes, sir. Hey, man,
Real
that was
quick.
that was deep right there. That was deep. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
real
buddy.
quick. Because you're talking about spending power, and you're talking about how much we kind of control. And a little bit earlier, you mentioned the reason that they opened things back up was because these businesses were dying. I don't know how deep you can get into this as a representative, but
Man, I can get as deep as you
in
want to
the
get.
grand.
Man, look, hey, man.
Okay, then
Yeah.
shoot, let's do it. Then in that sense, since we do revolve around capitalism, as a people, should we have let these businesses die so that we could rebuild it image? Like instead of succumbing to the pressure of these political parties, both Democrat, Republican, whatever you choose to, should we have just said, F it, we staying in here, we gonna deal with our health, let these companies die, and then we rebuild it on our own. We'll save our money, rebuild everything on our own.
So watch me give you this political answer, but the right answer. We don't have to intentionally decide whether their businesses live or die. We just need to be making sure ours live and thrive. And that's where we've been making our mistake at. It's so funny. People, whenever the conversation about comes up about desegregation or segregation and these things, and I always say, man, I want you to just look at where we were and how we were before some white dude in that conference room sitting at that table got wise and said, Bubba, shut up. When they come, they bring their money also.
Mhm.
And somebody in there, you think about it, some white dude that was talking to all these, separatists and Klansmen that didn't want black folks living in these neighborhoods, didn't want black folks coming in the front door, didn't want black folks coming into the business, got wise and told them to shut the hell up because they're bringing their money.
Yes, sir.
Right. And then they open them gates, and we, under that mindset of that old hangover from slavery of the need for validation because we get it from a Macy's or because we get it from this place or the other, and Jimmy over at Hollywood and Chelsea got the same exact thing, but we got it got a Macy's tag on it, and and we feel validated, and we show it to it's so funny. I was talking to my daughter about this too. You go out here and you buying, spending this money like you got it, you're trying to ball, right? And I said, okay, who is it that you're trying to impress? Other poor folks,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm.
And so what's the purpose in that,
Yes,
of
sir.
you putting yourself deeper in debt because you're trying to show somebody that you went to Macy's, instead when your own folks got the same exact thing,
Right.
and if it's a few cents more, if it is a few cents more, you may have saved it in gas, but if it's a few cents more, okay, but who's going to be more than likely to put it back into your community?
There it is. And you're right. It's all about changing that mindset.
Mhm.
If we're gonna do better as a people, we got to change the mindset. We definitely got to get a plan if we are ever indeed to receive reparations. Hey, Mr. Parkinson, man, listen, we're not gonna hold you up, but promise me, man, you're gonna come back for a part 2 because I want to get deeper, man. I want to find out more about you. Like who are you? Outside of being state rep, man.
Right.
What's your vibe? What type of music you listen to, man? Like where you like to hang out in? Like we want to find out more about who you are personally, man.
Man, anytime, man, and anytime you want to have me on, man. First of all, let me tell you, I truly appreciate y'all.
I appreciate you, man.
Number one, with your platform, what you're doing, also, in the uncut version, that's awesome.
No doubt.
And anytime, you want, anytime you guys would have me, I'm eternally grateful.
Hey, I'm gonna hold you to that. I'm gonna hold you to that, sir. We appreciate
anytime,
you, man.
man.
Yes, sir. That's state rep, man. Or should I say 4-time Tennessee Legislator of the Year.
Oh,
Mr.
man, you've been doing your
Antonio
homework. Thank you for that, man. Hey, thank you guys and young lady. Thank you, sister. I appreciate y'all, anytime again.
No doubt.
Yeah.
We're gonna do it again. So we appreciate you, man.
Okay.
All right, man.
All
Thank
right.
you, brother.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, man. Man, 4-time, man, Tennessee Legislator of the Year, Mr. Antonio Parkinson, man. Truly a man of the people representing District 98. That includes your hood, Lee. That includes Raleigh. That includes Bartlett. Man, he takes care of the people, man. He's a man of the people. He listens to our needs and he takes it up to Nashville, man. And he gets shit done. That's what he does. He gets shit done up there. No doubt, man. Let's keep it going, man. Essential
I like
AF
what he was
podcast.
saying. I like what he was saying about getting folks out there to vote. I
Yeah,
think that that was the big thing because I was that person. I was one of the people that thought that voting was only important during elections, not during the local stuff. So we definitely got to change that mindset. Like, vote locally. If you don't care about who's running for president, that's fine, but vote locally.
absolutely. Absolutely. And we were talking about reparations and Brandon and Stacey. We didn't get a chance to get you guys' thoughts on that. Brandon, man, real quick, what you got on the thoughts of, if we ever do receive reparations, what would you like to see, as far as the plan and some of the gains that could come from that?
Well, it definitely has to be more than the money because you don't want a lot of folks, knowing that folks got all this, this big lump sum of money and going around robbing folks and shit. But I think it should be as far as giving people more access to be able to own businesses so we can build the black enterprise, and be able to own land and things like that. Because like if you live in Chicago, you can't own land in Chicago. You can own a house, but you will never be able to own land in Chicago. So things like that need to change also. So I think that like I said, it has to be more than just the money because people go a plump ass fool over money, but it has to be something else to actually make this person, make you grow as a person and not just, using money. Because we know what happens with people when they get a lump sum of money, and we see that during tax time. So we got to get away to figuring out how to get people to, how to invest their money, how to use their money wisely and things like that. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. Stacey, your thoughts on reparations?
So I think that, and it's probably so crazy, but I think that there should be something kind of similar to what Brandon was saying, something where we can separate the ones who want to separate,
Mhm.
to
uh,
start their own government, growing your own food, your own everything, banks, schools, hospitals, everything. Something to set that up for you. Well, not for you, but that's what I would like. Your own everything. The ones who want to kind of stay with white in them, let them stay. And the ones who want to kind of start this whole black, almost a black planet, a real one, then let those people go and start.
right.
Kind of like the real Wakanda, if you will. You know what I'm saying? So that's
Absolutely.
what I think. And I think that, and it should be open to welcome black people only who are trying to escape that type of shit. I mean, I like the brown folks too, the Spaniards and all, but I think that if that type of world would exist, we got to get straight first before we start letting them in. But no white people. I'm sorry. So that's just because they always wreak havoc everywhere they go. They always fucking up shit. Yeah, we fuck up shit too, but they were the originators of that. So
No
anyway,
doubt. No
So
doubt.
Stacey, you talking kind of like a better version of like the Native American reservations because
yeah,
we know the United States gave them the reservations, but they gave them in the most fucked up places.
yeah,
But kind of like the Black Wall Street, like everybody talking about Tulsa and everything. Like, we built that shit,
yeah,
and
yeah,
then white folks was like, "No, niggers," and then they had to take it away. But something along those lines.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
We
Something
got
like
guns
that.
now, Lee.
What's that?
We got guns now.
Oh yes.
Bang, bang.
Took my drum punch through class Saturday, taking another one on Wednesday.
Hey, I'm gonna have to join you. I'm seriously thinking about joining you, man. Hey, we put that question of the week out there also on Facebook to all of our viewers and listeners there, man. We put it out there as far as the other financial benefits of reparations and other gains that could come from receiving reparations. And we appreciate everybody that chimed in with their thoughts and comments, man. Let me read a few of them here off our Facebook page. Make sure you go like and share right now on Essential AF podcast show on our Facebook page. My man Larry Rogers, Larry the Prez Rogers, man. He said he would like to see a fresh start on credit. It's a well-known fact that banks and other financial institutions have taken advantage of us for capital gain. So it's a good point right there. My homie Andrea Anderson, shout out to her, man. She's been down with us since day one, checking out the show. Her thoughts on reparations are she would like to see free education and counseling as well, man. And my homegirl Colleen Woods, she wants to see restoration of patents for the creations that Black people made back in the day. Also,
Man,
and tax,
that's a good one.
yeah, that's a good one, right? And tax exemption for all Black people for the same amount of time that slavery existed on this continent. How about that?
Mm.
Yeah,
That's some
man.
good shit. That's some good shit right
We
there.
got some smart folks, man, that tune into the show, man.
Yeah, they had some good. I read them earlier today. I didn't chime in, but they did have some good ones because I was like, shit, money. And I started reading. I was like, oh no, that's good. That's good. That's good. Yeah, they had a lot of good ones.
No
Yep.
doubt, man. So moving on, man, from reparations. Hopefully, one day we see that bear fruit in some form or fashion down the road. But the transition, man, we're gonna go from reparations to talking about. Let's talk about Mississippi State flag for a moment, man.
Hold on. Excuse me. Wait
Yeah.
a minute. I think we should be allowed to, if we want to
Hmm.
smack one white motherfucker as hard as we could
Woo.
in the reparations package.
Okay, so you want to include that
Yes, in
in
the
the
pack.
reparations?
Smack the shit out of one of them. Don't matter with the. I'm talking about with like with the power of Thor's hammer or some shit. You know what I'm talking about? Come with it. Smack the fuck off one of them motherfuckers.
You remember when Al on Temptation hit Paul with that bottle? Bam! You gonna do 5
Yeah, yeah. That need to be in the package. Now go on to your next question.
Okay,
I
well,
don't want
now
to miss.
actually, to add amendum to that, to add on to it. So maybe in the future we can get State Rep Antonio Parkinson. If there's a Tennessee portion of that reparations bill, maybe he can add that on there.
Right, smack the shit out of just one of them. Now get you
Hey,
one.
start with Lloyd.
Lord, okay. Ooh, I'm so glad you said that, Brandon. And you know what? We gonna pivot. We go all right. Because the state flag, Mississippi state flag is some bullshit anyway. You're gonna be the only state in these United States that had a Confederate emblem as part of your state flag anyway. So that should have been done 50 years ago. However long ago, they should have made changes to that, and their state legislature approved that to a two-thirds majority vote. I think it was 85 to 34 to go ahead and make changes to the state flag, man. So kudos to the state of Mississippi for finally getting on board with the rest of America and removing the Confederate emblem. But Brand, I'm glad you mentioned that, man. I got my home girl. I'm hoping that we can get her on. You're talking about Lloyd of Germantown, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we also we're going to talk about the protest. The protest still working or not. And Lloyd, the male version of Karen, um, he had a problem with somebody. I believe it was a white guy out there yesterday, out there in Germantown. I forgot which street corner he was on, but it was like right over there by what's the mall over there, the shopping area over there.
Uh,
Uh,
Battle Creek.
yeah, exactly. He was right over there with a white guy with a Black Lives Matter sign, and Lloyd, he was bothered. He was definitely bothered by the fact that guy had this sign, and he said something to the guy, and the guy got him on video, man. So we got to talk about that. But my homegirl Joya, she went out there today to that same spot, and we're hoping to get her on here before the show's over. Get her on and get her thoughts, the reasons why she wanted to go out there today to also protest and hold up her Black Lives Matter sign as well, man. So I'm gonna try to get her on here before the show's over with. But guys, let's talk about protests for a moment. Do you guys still think protests as a whole in general are still working, man? Are we still holding the attention of America right now?
I think so. I think we are. One of the things that I would tell my students that protested, I've had students protest in 2016. I've had students protest last school year. But I always tell them, if you're going to go protest, that's great. Go ahead and protest. I'm not going to stop you. But what happens tomorrow? What happens after the day after tomorrow and all that stuff? That's really been the best thing about these protests, is the fact that we've been able to sustain the protests and get things changed. Something that happened here in Tennessee, the no-knock warrants gone. That's because of protesting. Guy that got called out at flight for being racist, he's out. That's because of protesting. We've been at it. It's been a little bit slower this past maybe week or two, but we're still. As soon as we see some fuckery, we ready to mobilize and we go and handle business. So I was definitely a person that felt like protesting wasn't doing anything, and I am so glad to say that I've been proven wrong because of what's been going on these protests. We still got a lot of work to do. Don't let up. Keep protesting.
Absolutely. I was able to take part in the protest downtown a few days ago. where the Memphis area attorneys and the legal community got together and had a march right there in downtown Memphis the other day, man. So I was glad and privileged to take part in that, man. But just like I said, I think right now, to your point, Lee, as far as what you were saying, I think as far as the attention and the way things and the way the momentum is building right now, as far as affecting change, like some of the things that they're making changes to should have been abolished and outlawed a long time ago. But it's no time like the present to make sure that like chokehold, police chokehold should have been gone a long time ago. Now they're getting rid of that. You know what I'm saying? So if that the effect of protesting, what protesting does to make change, then we gotta keep it going, Brandon. And I know you as well, man. As far as protesting, you're a big you would like to see more protests happening in the future as well, right?
Right. I do see that the momentum of the protests are actually slacking as far as physically, but I think that the impact that has from the earlier part of the protesting when George Floyd was first killed is actually causing a lot of impact on what's going on in the world right now. Statues are being removed. 600 police officers are resigning in New York, which I don't know how true that is, um, but I think we need to, remob back up, in the masses, like how we initially did it, in the beginning. It's kind of like, when your mom, like, I'm gonna whoop your ass just because, just in case you do something. Well, it kind of got to be like that. So we got to kind of mob back up, so something will not happen. So you can know that, we serious about this and not just out here just trying to, because we don't have anything to do, that we really want to change, in America. You know, there's still racist people out there. There's going to continue to be racist people out there. But I think that if we can reach a lot of the people who, a lot of the young people, like the young people who reserved all those tickets for the rally in Tulsa. You got a lot of young people that's stepping up too. You may not be out there physically, but any kind of way will help.
Absolutely.
With progress, for Black people, Black lives.
Yeah.
That's what all lives don't matter, but just because you say save the whales doesn't mean you don't care about the sharks.
Definitely, man. It's all about making a difference, making a change, in this world, man, making things better for all of our children, man, to live in a better world here, Stacy.
I'm sorry. Somebody was trying to get the show and couldn't see it. I'm sorry. That's what I was doing. I don't want y'all to think I'm not paying attention. I hear you. Come on with your
Yeah.
question. What you about to ask me about this protestery?
No, what's your thoughts on it? Do you think the protest is still working?
Uh, yeah. I mean, I ain't never seen no shit like this before. I would assume so.
Yeah, no
You
doubt.
know, and I wasn't around in the '60s and beforehand, but I don't even think it was really like this because they kicking ass now.
No
So
doubt. Like I said,
yeah.
speaking of kicking ass and taking names, we being joined right now by my friend, man. She's been doing her thing for years here in the city, and she was a very brave soul and courageous soul that went out there today, out there in Germantown, man. She saw what happened yesterday with the other gentleman protester when Lloyd came up and had something to say. So Joya, we being joined right now by my friend Joya Aaron right now on the Essential AF podcast show. Joya, thank you so much for coming on the show.
No problem. Big ups to all of you for continuing this show amidst COVID, amidst everything that's going on with racial injustice. So big ups to all of you. And I see you. I see you. I see you and I hear you.
Appreciate it, sister, man. We thank you, man. Talk about earlier this afternoon. You went out there and had your own one woman protest until you were joined by another,
Right.
right until you were joined by another friend of yours, man. Just talk about going out there and everything with that.
That was crazy. So I just found out the gentleman's name that did it on yesterday. His name was Eddie Nelson. So big ups to Eddie Nelson. He led a one man protest on yesterday at about 2 o'clock. I'm finding out he was there between 2 and 4, and this was in Germantown at the Poplar and West Farmington intersection. If you are familiar with the Apple store, it's right over there in Saddle Creek. So I was very encouraged. I had never seen a demonstration like that done in Germantown. Germantown likes to pride itself in being one of the last little small towns that people can still walk their dogs and leave their doors open. It's no open racism, but there is a lot of covert racism that goes on in Germantown, and it's probably overt as well. He was approached by a man who claimed to be a resident of Germantown named Lloyd Crawford, and he showed his card. That's why we know his name. And he walked up to the individual that is Eddie and said, do you live here? You know, identify yourself. So he is not a law enforcement officer, but he asked the individual to identify himself as if he had a right to come up to another citizen to demand them for identification. So that's what happened. And Lloyd, who was so kind in sharing where he works and where he lives and his phone number and his email, and it soon went viral, really showed his true colors. And I was encouraged by that protest on yesterday. And so not only did I want to go out there on today and protest Black Lives Matter, which I did for just 1 hour. You know, Eddie was out there for 2, but you know, my hair, you know, it's real. I could only do it for 1 hour. But going out there, it was just a lot of energy. I had a lot of people honking their horns and with their fists up. But I also had people, can we curse on this? Can we curse?
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah. By all means.
I also had somebody drive past me and say, I don't know whether to F you or to hang you. So it was kind of a mixture of different things that I received. Yeah, in Germantown, guys, in the city that we love and we get our Apple phones from. That is what I experienced. I just felt really confident and encouraged to go out there. If we don't make folks uncomfortable to show who they truly are, whether they are for us or against us, then how will we ever know who we're fighting?
Wow. Man, that's crazy. Somebody actually said that to you?
Yes. And of course, his license plate had the Confederate flag on there. So it just runs deep. It's more than just, you know, Southern pride, as a lot of people like to hide behind NASCAR. So glad they took that step to ban the Confederate flag. The hate runs deep.
It runs deep. You know, like I said, you know, these protests, you know, we're starting to make a little headway, but we got a long way to go. You know, as you can very well see, and people like Lloyd and the other Karens out there.
What are we calling Lloyd? Have you guys talked about that? What are we calling that?
Might as well just call him Lloyd.
Mr. Karen.
Lloyd,
Lloyds and Karens.
Mr. Karen.
yeah,
We don't
basically.
have to take the Lloyd singer though, but we need to call him something else.
Mr. Karen.
Maybe Richard.
Mark. Let's call him Mark.
I said Bob.
Bob. Okay. But you know what? We'll go with Bob. We'll go with Bob.
Bobs and Karens.
Yeah, Bob.
Right, right.
What they're doing, they're exposing themselves. You know,
Wow.
by every protest that we have, we're shining a light on people that are racist, people that are prejudiced, and they're losing their livelihoods, and rightfully so. You know,
Rightfully so. Yeah.
yeah, you know, things are changing in this country, man, slowly but surely. And you know, you may think that and it all comes from being the sense of entitlement.
Mm.
You know, that's where it all stems from. You know, believing that this is my country and my sidewalk, my street. And how dare you? You don't have the right to have a human rights protest on my block. You know, and that's where it all boils down to, the sense of entitlement. And we are ripping that entitlement away from them one at a time. So I love it, you know, and I hope that more of these Bob and Karens are exposed and they lose more, you know, lose everything, man, your livelihood, your careers, whatever you had going on, you know, because if you're stupid enough or fool enough to confront one of us when we're on the right side of history, then you deserve to lose it all, man.
Right. And I've seen people at that intersection, as I've been living in Germantown for a couple of years, hold up signs that say "Save the trees," right?
Right.
You know, just different things that people are honking for. They're not circled, you know, so for the whole hour, the whole 60 minutes that I was out there, several different police cars circled me. There was actually one point in time where an individual police car parked across the street and just shined his light. I don't know why he was shining his light in the light time, but it's an intimidation tactic. And just looked at me the entire time. I guess I looked suspicious to him, but what is the identification and the clarification of looking suspicious? But this did not happen. This did not happen to Eddie, a white male, but it did happen to me, a Black female, on today.
Absolutely. Hey, Joya, listen, man. Kudos to you. I appreciate you, man, and I wish I could have gone out there today with you.
Will you
You
be
know what
doing
I'm
it? Will you
saying?
be doing
And but you just know, you ever need me, you call me.
All
All right.
right.
Whatever the next protest march that's going on, I'm gonna be there with you, man.
She's
I got
doing it
you.
tomorrow.
I got you.
Right, and I realize that everybody has their own place in the movement. I was not a protester, not someone that's on the front line. I'm actually a legal analyst, and I work for a civil rights law firm nonprofit. And so I had done a lot of legislation work behind the scenes. But I guess that encounter with Lloyd coming up to our brother Eddie and demanding that he identify himself and that he leave the block kind of catapulted me to the front lines. So I don't know if I'm going to be always in the front lines, Brandon.
Right.
But hopefully, I inspired someone to continue the fight in that way.
I feel you. I feel you. You know, you seeing that happen yesterday, it definitely sparked something in you, and you
Right.
know, a call to action, a cause for action. So, you know, that was definitely a call in there, man, and you stepped up to the plate,
Thank
and
you.
we
Thank you.
appreciate you, man, and we gotta get you back on again one day in the future, okay?
Right, right, right. I love y'all. Big
Man,
fan.
right back at you, man. One love, man. All right, Joy,
All
appreciate you,
right.
honey.
Keep up the
All right
fight.
now.
All right.
All
Bye.
right. That was the homie right there, Joya Aaron, man. Been knowing her for a minute. Real smart, dope sister, man. Doing her thing, man. Like I said, she was out there today. You can actually go on her Facebook page right now and see her live when she was out there protesting out there in Germantown earlier today. Thoughts, guys?
Oh hell no, she knows some good shit.
Yeah, no doubt.
I'll say this. I mean, outside of Stacy, who always kills it because she's Stacy, mwah, the ladies that we have on here, like, I just want to put my stuff on mute. I don't want to talk anymore with the women that we have on here because we consistently have the ladies just owning this.
No doubt.
It's amazing, and I love it.
Absolutely, man. Hey man, hey, ain't nothing like a black woman, man. I tell you, yeah, I tell you that, man. I love all women, but ain't nothing like a black woman, man, that can hold you down during these times, man. Absolutely. Essential AF podcast show, man. We only got a few minutes left, man. We can still talk about uh, blackface. I know, Lee, you wanted to share some thoughts on that, man. As far as all the celebrities that's coming out of the woodworks now apologizing for the blackface comments. So we'll talk about that, and also we'll talk about our unpopular opinion, man. Final 2 minutes coming up in a moment here. We'll give our final take on whatever's on our mind, man. Freestyle for the final 2 minutes of the show, man. But Lee, man, I'll throw it to you, man. As far as the blackface thing, man. You know, Jimmy Kimmel just came out apologizing for a skit he did some years ago in regards to Carl Malone when he was in blackface trying to be like Carl. Let's talk about all the celebrities that are coming out now and apologizing for blackface videos they did in the past.
Man, fuck y'all. Fuck y'all that doing that blackface and apologizing for it. You knew it was wrong back then, and now you apologizing because you know your money is getting fucked up. You know, Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, these YouTubers, which I'll talk about later in my unpopular opinion, but these YouTubers, all of y'all, even shows that I like, 30 Rock, I think was one that took some episodes. I mean, you knew it was wrong when you were doing it. You knew it was wrong. And now all of a sudden you're like, because you know, especially cancel culture, which I'm not a big fan of, but because of this idea of we can cancel you, and it's like, oh shit, let me say I'm sorry for this. You know, you knew it was wrong then. What makes you think? And of course, fucking apologists for these people that do blackface, that did blackface. Kimmel's old Roland buddy, I can't remember his name right now, but when they did the Man
Corolla?
Show, yeah,
Yeah.
Adam Carolla, that's his name. You know, talking about, oh, he's the nicest guy. If he's a nice guy, why the fuck did he do blackface then? Because I remember seeing that sketch from back in the day. Like, stop it. And also, for those that are saying, oh, well, what about Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder? That was satire. There is a complete fucking difference between something that is insulting, which is what Kimmel and Fallon and a lot of these other people did, versus, I'm sorry, hold on, versus what was done in terms of something like Tropic Thunder, something like oh my gosh, now I can't remember the movies, but that was satire.
Mm-hmm.
And if you understand satire, you understand the difference. If you don't understand the difference, then get the fuck out. Fuck Jimmy Kimmel. Fuck Jimmy Fallon. You know what you did. Fuck y'all. It's insulting and you shouldn't have done it.
Man, hey, that's real right there, Lee. That's real, man. They're all coming out of the woodworks now. Like I said, back then, man, like I said, and me being a younger guy at that time and seeing that type of stuff, man, like, yo, like, really, I know even though it's like early, 2000s, still, like, come on now, what y'all thinking, man? And y'all think y'all cool with us, and you have the right, the authority to do blackface and think, oh, it's cool. I got I got black friends. They won't mind it, It's just it's crazy, man, to think that was acceptable, all those years ago, man, and up until just recently as well.
And to go back to Robert Downey Jr., just because we fuck with you doesn't mean that we forgive you. Like I said, with Robert Downey Jr., what he did with Tropic Thunder, that was still insulting. But see, we smart. This thing right here that we have inside our brains, we smart enough to understand that was satire. He was making fun of what Hollywood people do.
Absolutely.
Jimmy Fallon and Kimmel were doing, that had nothing to do with Hollywood satire.
Absolutely.
So stop trying to bring that up. Same thing with what Eddie Murphy did way back in SNL when he did Whiteface on that sketch. Hilarious sketch. We know the difference. That was fucking satire.
Go ahead, Brandon.
Lee, I got a question. So what exactly did Jimmy Fallon and Jimmy Kimmel do? Was it something for TV, or was it just something that they did like on a home video? Or I mean, what exactly was? Because I haven't seen it. So.
What to start with Jimmy Kimmel, what he used to do, I don't know if it was, I think it was either on the Man Show or one of the other late night shows that he did. He would do impression of Karl Malone, where it was like, this here Karl Malone, and I don't understand what's going on. This here Karl Malone, and like that was basically, like, you could look it up on YouTube. That was his thing. With Jimmy Fallon, he did blackface on a SNL sketch when he was impersonating Chris Rock.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I said, it was messed up all the way around, and apologies really gonna fall deaf ears after a while, man. Like, what you were doing at the time, and with everything going on in the world now, you feel the need to come out. Why didn't you come out 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and say that, man, when it would have been, unpopular, I guess, to apologize at the time. You're right, money's behind all of it, but definitely, Stacey, I know you never really fucked with Jimmy Kimmel, no way, did you?
No, I saw Jimmy Fallon and it wasn't bad to me. And Chris Rock, he was cool with it. Now I'm gonna tell you who offended me more than anybody. That damn Robert Downey. Like, most of the black faces that I've seen, they're all pretty much offensive. But because he took on the entire character, like a lot of them do, I guess, as a black man, he was doing that little ghetto shit, that little talk and all of that. And I understand what a satire is. But that nigga there, that was the only one that really kind of struck my core. And I think it was because you could have got a black man to play that. I mean, I understand. You could have got a black man to play that. I don't give a shit. Or somebody of color to play that. So that's a blackface ass nigga. I don't give a shit. Him. And I didn't see Jimmy Kimmel, but that sounded like he was kind of, making mockery. But I saw the one from Jimmy Fallon, and I was like, shit, the nigga just acting like him. And Chris Rock said he wasn't offended. He actually looked and act just like him. He wasn't. And I guess because maybe Chris Rock doesn't speak unintelligently, it didn't seem like he was actually making mockery. You know what I'm saying? So when you start doing that ass shit, it seems like then that you're making mockery.
Right.
Oh, ain't none of it straight. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like, even the movie back in the 80s, Soul Man. And I've been on the black shit since I was born. So, you know what I'm saying? I be looking for a reason to can't stand motherfucking white man. But even that movie didn't really offend me although I knew it wasn't straight. The only one that really did was Robert Downey. It's like he couldn't wait. He couldn't wait to make mockery and make it fair seeming. That was just my take.
Mm.
But I don't think none of it straight. And then the Wayans brothers, they do white face with the white chicks. I'm
Yeah.
not taking up for nobody, but I mean really all depends on if it's derogatory, maybe. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? But ain't blackface it ain't straight no way because of where it originated from.
Absolutely.
Whiteface was never an issue.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I
Yeah.
really don't have an opinion on it myself because I mean, I feel like when a person is an actor, that's what they are. They are actors. So you got people like Dave Chappelle who did Whiteface. You got the Wayans brothers. You got Martin that did Bob from Marketing. So really, I mean, to me, it's not really an issue for me. I think it's an issue for me, like what Stacey said, when it's meant to be done in a malicious way. You
Hmm.
know, but
Hmm.
and it more affects me more when you got like let's just say like a college student or something that want to dress
Right.
up as a black person and do dumb shit like that. But I think when it comes from an actor, I think that it should be just that they're acting, because I really don't have an issue with it. Just like I don't have really an issue with what Jimmy Kimmel did. I don't have an issue with what Martin did. I love the bar from Marketing character. White Chicks was pretty, hot as a movie. Um, who else played Whiteface? It was somebody else that I had on tip of my tongue. Shit, Eddie Murphy. So I guess when I guess, stop making things like that's not comfortable for us, then I think everything could be straight and people kind of look over that shit. I don't really see the big deal in myself. I ain't gonna be I'm
Yeah.
making an uproar about it. So.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Hey, man, we will definitely touch back on that maybe down the road, man. Have a part two in regards to the blackface comments, man, and discussion because, like I said, that's something that stems what hundreds hundreds of years, man. It's very deep rooted, man. I think it's a very worthwhile discussion down the road, man. But listen, man, it's like 7 o'clock already, man. It's about time for us to get out of here. It's been a great
7
show. We
o'clock,
got unpopular opinion coming up. Yeah, it's past 7 o'clock. All right, so it's time for things to get loose. All right, it's time for her get ready, get her swerve on. If you know what I mean. Hey, hey, listen, man. On next week's show, Stacy, we gonna do a live tarot reading, right?
Yeah, we'll do some. Well, we'll
All
let the audience um ask one question. Maybe a few people that's in the
right.
comments or something.
Okay.
Ask one question. I can shake them up and pull them and kind of get them some guidance. If they want more, they got to inbox me. But I can get you going.
Okay. That's what's up, man. So live tarot card reading coming up with Stacey Camille Twa on the show next week, man, next Sunday, man. But before we get up out of here, man, we got to shout out our sponsors. Shout out to all our sponsors, man. Absolutely Platinum Cleaning. Call my homegirl Fatima Parks right now, man. Hit her up. You call her at 679-4141. It's 901-679-4141. It's absolutely Platinum Cleaning. Also, guys, we're working on some new sponsors as well, man. I got some folks lined up, man, for next week. All right. We about to get paid around here, guys.
Where the
We
Chicken King at?
money.
Hey, shit, where my wings at?
Where
Hey,
the
it's
chicken?
coming. It's coming, man. I was talking to my guy today. All right. Shout out to my man over there at the Wing Factory, man.
Yeah, after
My
the
guy,
Chicken
yeah.
King.
Yeah, it's coming, man. All right, we're gonna do something. I'm telling y'all, just hold on. We got a promotion coming with my man over there, Q, over there at the Wing Factory, man. Also, shout out my home girl, Demi Martin, man. We got some coming up with her as well, man. Demi Martin Smith. They got their own food truck, guys. They own food truck. They're gonna have their own little restaurant coming as well, man. So it's some of the best food in the world. So we're gonna put that out there next week as well, man. Shout out to Demi Chris, my man Chris Smith, Jimmy, all of them, man. We appreciate it as well, man. So everybody that's joining us is coming on board, man. We appreciate the love. So we're gonna do big things coming up in the future, man. It's going down this summer, man. Essential AF Podcast. Make sure you like our page on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube. We got the final 2 minutes coming up right now. Let's start off, my man, Lee Johnson. Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, I need you to stop following these quote unquote social media influencers that are out here trying to monetize Black Lives Matter movement, protesting, going out with a sign in front of these protests in their nice little outfits talking about Black Lives Matter. No, fuck them. Leave them alone. Stop following them. Tell them to get a real fucking job. They're pointless. They don't help the movement. Please, please, please stop with these influencers. They are doing nothing but dissuading from the real message.
Okay, all right. I like that. I like that. What you got for me, Brandon? Final 2 minutes, man.
Oh shit, we on a mandatory mask mandate now. So my thing is, there's a lot of people that say, "Man, I'm not going to wear a mask. It's going to take up my constitutional rights." One thing, I'm sorry, man. I don't want nobody telling me about no damn constitutional rights, man, because they've been taking our constitutional rights for a long fucking time. And for you to step in and say something about taking your rights over a fucking mask, they respect people who want to wear their mask. You need to wear your fucking mask. If a place tell you you can't come in without a mask, why are you starting shit?
Yeah.
You're like, I don't understand why these people walking up in here saying, I can't wear a mask. Well, bitch, go to another fucking store that you don't have to wear a fucking mask. You know,
Right.
you want to do all this shit. Talk about, I have health reasons, bitch. Maybe you don't need to be outside then if you have health risk. So wear your damn mask and respect people and make sure y'all stay 6 feet apart. There's no fucking reason why you should be all up on motherfuckers. I don't want you up on me when we wasn't having the pandemic. Hey, give me the 50 feet, man. Wear your mask, or else shit, get the damn fine.
Bag. Give me 50 feet. I hear you, Brandon.
Boy.
I hear you. Okay. All right. Got that smoke for the final 2 minutes. I see you, my guy. All right, Stacy, what you got, homegirl? 2 minutes. Let's go.
So I think that, and I'm not trying to shift a movement. I just want us to remember one. That motherfucking Black Power movement. Look, the Black Matters thing those words never ever really sat right with me. Nothing is wrong with it, but it sounds so much better when you say Black Power. It ain't nothing. I would rather be the power than the fucking matter. Matter could be anything. It could be this shit here. It could be this ink pen, this damn shit I was digging the chicken out my tube with earlier. But when you got fucking power, yo, when you take that out of the lingo of the language of the dialogue between people, you just begin to matter. It kind of Martin Luther King's you. It kind of Martin Luther King you instead of Malcolm you. Where the power at though? Yeah, you matter, but you don't have no power. You just matter. You see what I'm saying? So that's my thing. I'm like, yeah, you can say Black Lives. I ain't buying no Black Lives Matter shirt, none of that shit. Ain't nothing wrong with it. But I would rather have the power than the matter. That's the shirt that you'll be seeing me wearing. I would rather be the power than the matter. Because if you just matter, you ain't got no fucking power. You can be both, but y'all ain't saying both.
Mm-hmm.
So stay focused and understand who you are. You ain't just no fucking matter. You are power. That's why they want you. That's why they steal your shit, your melon, your organs and shit, because you are power. But you forgot about that. Anyway.
Okay.
What I just say.
Okay.
The women killing it. The
Hey.
women killing it.
You know what? I ain't gonna even follow that up right there, man. That was so good right there. We're gonna end it on that one, man. Damn, my 2 minutes. Hey, I'm gonna save my 2 minutes for next week. I'm gonna have 4 minutes next week.
I'm just telling you, be the power. I mean, yeah,
That
you
was
can
dope.
matter,
Yeah.
but you gotta be the power though.
That was
I
dope
don't
right
want
there.
my niggas. If I had a man and I ain't got one, but if I had one, you matter. No, my nigga is powerful. You see what I'm saying? A man that matters? No, man, you are powerful. Man, fuck that. Don't matter me up. Power
Talk
me.
that talk.
Yeah,
Talk
power
that
me.
talk, Stacy. What you
Yeah.
doing? What you doing after the show?
Man, trying to get some power. You heard me? Trying to get some power so I can stay lifted and elevated.
Power Ranger.
You heard me?
Hey man, we about to get up out of here, man. Real quick, breaking news just a few moments ago. The New England Patriots just signed Cam Newton to a 1-year deal, man. The former NFL MVP who the Carolina Panthers just released during this past offseason has now been picked up by the New England Patriots. Interesting details coming out of the NFL, man. Bill Belichick back up to his old tricks, man. Damn Patriots.
I gotta check out his cigar shop in Atlanta, though. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Cam's the man, man. He should have already been on somebody's team, but big ups to the Patriots and Belichick for signing him, man. How about that? You go from Tom Brady to Cam Newton. No drop off, man. The Patriots gonna be right back in the playoffs next year, man. How about that, man? That's how we gonna end the show, man. It's been another great show. Shout out to our guy, special guest, State Rep Antonio Parkinson, man. We're gonna definitely get him back on again in the future. He was dropping science all
Yes.
throughout the show.
Because I want nobody that half ounce he was about to talk about.
Yeah, we gotta get back on and talk about that. Exactly,
Yeah.
man.
Give a half
Shout
ounce,
out to
man.
Antonio Parkinson. Shout out to our homegirl Joya for joining us, man. She was out there earlier getting her protest on Black Lives Matter out there in
Yes.
Germantown. One woman protest, man, holding it down out there in Germantown, man. Hey, man, we about to get up out of here. We're gonna do it again next week, man. For the teacher, Lee Johnson, my guy, my homie, Brandon Steele, my sister, the queen of Essential AF, Stacy Camille Twa. I am your host, Jonathan C. Smith, and we want to remind each and every one of y'all, each one of you guys are essential as fuck. And we
Power.
appreciate y'all. We're going to do it again. Same time, next week, same place, man. Make sure you tune in live, 6 o'clock, next Sunday, right here on Facebook, man. Essential AF Podcast. We out, baby.
Go, go, Power Rangers!
Hey.
Not the matter.